big red cabinets that could play in between like 1 and 6 games. There's different variations on that. Oh yeah, there's Metal Slug too. All right, well, I think we're done staring at this stream starting soon screen, and we will go ahead and turn on the actual game, which actually has been running in the background. So, a little background here. Most of you guys that know me know that I've been working on a Neo Geo video game for about 2 years now, and it is in the beat 'em up genre. And we are very, very close to releasing. We're hopefully releasing by the end of September. That might get pushed back based on how the hardware stuff works out, because we're creating real physical cartridges for both the AES and MVS platforms. But we're also going to be releasing modern versions as well for Steam, for Xbox, for PSN, and for Switch. We've got builds for all that. They're all working great. We're actually working on achievements right now. And this build that you're seeing is actually going to be our Steam build. It's still not complete, so consider all this work in progress. An alpha, as you would say. This did not call it a beta. And no, I am not playing the game. This is our track. Actually, this is another thing that we have to do at the very end of the game. We have to re-record the attract mode because the game has changed so much that it looks like somebody who's really drunk is playing it right now. So I recorded those attracts back in December. So as you can imagine, things have changed just a little bit. This is our opening scroll. It's the cityscape. And anyway, the game is pretty much about there's a mutant infestation on the planet. There's some real crazy stuff going on in the background, like who's actually controlling what with all this, and it's kind of oppressive human society. And there's some heroes that finally said, we've had enough. And so they're gonna stand up against all the powers that be and try to work through everything to figure out what the heck is going on. So it's a dumb premise for a game, and that's absolutely just fantastic for me. The dumber the better. Drunk attract modes. Dude, some of the attract modes from some super well-known games, terrible. I think they did the exact same thing. They made an attract mode and created it and never updated it before they shipped the game. There's so many of them that look terrible.
Vengeance hunters.
Yes, they are out hunting for vengeance. Oh, you guys would not believe how long it took us to name this game. And I finally came up with something dumb enough and something that was not really used. So yeah, here we go. That's why we're hunting for vengeance. All right, so I guess let's go ahead and play the video game.
Vengeance hunters.
That is actually my voice. Almost all the voices you'll hear in this game is me. So sorry about that. Anyway, this is the modern version, which we actually just recently added this exit button to, which is fantastic because you can now exit out of the game without having to hit escape. So that's pretty good. Yes, Marcy's got it right. The vengeance hunts them. And we got a bunch of different options here, and we've got 3 different modes of play. We have the easy mode, which is prey. We have the normal difficulty, hunter, and then there's vengeance mode. Hunter is meant to be, this beat 'em up is not going to be quite like every other beat 'em up of the era, really. It's more meant to be, kind of think more Devil May Cry, Bayonetta, or even Marvel vs. Capcom. You are in control of your character. It's very responsive, and you're meant to feel pretty powerful. But at the same time, enemies can surround you, can hurt you. It moves a little faster than your typical beat 'em up. And there's also some other stuff that's non-conventional that I'll explain a little bit later. Did add in the ability to change your controls around. So we can turn on vibration. We can turn on, in fact, actually I'm working on that tonight after I get done with this. But you can change your controls for player 1 and player 2. I required that to be in there. And for all of you guys who want different kinds of scaling, we do have that. In full screen mode, there'll be like an integer mode. So if you're in full screen, you can still have like perfect pixels. So for people who really like that, can have that. I've got it set to this right now because I'm not full screening. There is also some CRT effects that we have. We might add in a couple more. I don't know how well those come across on the stream. They don't look too bad. Z-Fast is my favorite, but we're not going to use those tonight. Oh yeah, yeah. That's what a track mode is, because it's meant to be like, hey, you know, come look at my video game. Here's how it plays, and usually a lot of those arcade games would be very loud as well. All right, so moving on. That was the option screen. We're gonna start, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna play level 1, but I'll probably play into and possibly through level 2. But I'm gonna show off the different characters. So we'll start with everybody's default. This is the first selectable character. He's probably the easiest one to wrap your brain around. Is Golem. So we'll select him, and we'll actually let it run through the how to play. This is how you play. I don't even have to talk. This is great. But most Neo Geo games and arcade games in general have something like this. It kind of shows off the different moves. And yeah, running is big. By the way, in most beat 'em ups, you don't run a ton. This one you do. You will run constantly. In fact, late in the game, you need to run or you're going to get hit by stuff. So anyway, we'll let the cinematic play out. No, all feedback's pretty good, Junkyard Dave, and questions as well. You have questions, anything like that. Fun fact about the story is we actually have a pretty renowned guy that did the story, and he loves it that it's stupid. The whole point of it was to be stupid. We have actually story that's different based on which character you pick and even which difficulty you pick. So there's like 9 different things that can be said per, like, you know, run through based on which character you're using. Golem also speaks in lead speak, so anyway, let me pause this here real quick. Let me kind of give everybody a rundown. Since this is a first stream, nobody knows really what's going on. This game is very, very combo heavy, so you need to essentially use the combos that you have, and I'll show those off here. We have a move list, and for each character there is combos that they can do. There's a bunch of moves, and there's also combos. They're universal between all the characters. So as you can see, the combos, there's like AAAA, which those are Neo Geo buttons. I can actually change those buttons to anything. But they're universal, but then each character has what's called a signature move. So most beat 'em ups have, like, you walk into somebody and you can, like, basically throw them or do something with them after you grab them. This game does not have that, because I always thought that was a little bit wonky. It could also interrupt the flow of the game that I was wanting to make. And so what we did instead is we gave everybody a signature move. Golem's signature move is, since people do like throwing people around and having a wrestling type character, we made him the wrestler. So he has a ton of different kind of grapples and stuff. So you'll see that quite a little bit as I'm playing. There's a lot of aerial stuff, a lot of extended combos, stuff like that. I'm also playing on normal mode right now. I could put it on hard, but we'll just go. We'll just roll with it. Oh, hello, Laura. Or still it's Kilmer. Let's see. Fighting game kind of an overlay showing. Oh yeah, for the fighting game. Yeah, this isn't really like a fighting game. Like I said, all the buttons are pretty much the same between the characters. It's just their unique stuff. Like, this is Golem's grab, and you'll see what he gets to do. Like, he gets to throw enemies. I can do a pile driver. I can throw enemies up in the air, and then I can knock them around, and then I can throw them. So he's really good for crowd control and whatnot. So I can go, oops. So I can pretty much just, like, knock enemies down that way. To me, it's more fun to hit them in the air, but this gives people choices. You can kind of play however you want. You can play Golem really defensive if you want. And, oh, hey, Nima. You can play him super defensive. In fact, actually, I've got a guy who I know right now who's kind of giving me feedback on the harder modes, and he plays like super defensive on everything. So he just sits there. He'll just play footsies with everything. Like he'll do this, and he'll just run away. And this is his preferred play style because he wants to try to 1cc everything, and he's not too concerned with time. I don't like to play like that, but the game kind of gives you options to do whatever you want. There's not a whole lot of dialogue, Grogoyle. There is some, but it's not too overwhelming. You'll be fine. Oh god. Okay, so luckily I just barely got missed. The green guys, when they get low HP, can hit you with their explosive attack. And that guy likes to pull his head off and throw it at you. There's also another thing that's about this game is that it's one of the rare 4-button Neo Geo games. So you actually have to press all 4 buttons consistently. So I'll be doing light punch, heavy punch. So I'm rotating between heavy and light right there. And you're doing a lot of jumping. As you've seen, you knock people up in the air, do a lot of jumping. And the signature move, like I said, is his throw. So that's just kind of one of those things that you'll get used to if you treat it more like a character action game rather than like your 90s belt scroller. There's nothing wrong with that, but I kind of like games being really responsive, and also it ensures that I can't just sit here and just sort of jump kick my way through. Shout out to Paprium. I did get to play that recently. There was a guy who loaned it to me, and because I have my copy, that's just probably never going to show up. I've heard Fonzie somewhere in Russia or something like that. I don't know. The lore of Fonzie is insane. Can you turn around in the middle of attack string? You can't. Well, I mean, you can. You can do like that. So yes, you can. I do that actually pretty often. If I do this and I'm behind an enemy, I'll turn around and I'll finish with it. So it's pretty forgiving. There's a window of time that you have to basically pull off the strings, which is what makes the combos so easy. So you can just mash this. Like you can just mash one button the whole game if you want, but you'll get more out of it if you try to learn the other stuff, but you don't have to. So if you're just like a person who just really wants to just press punch, you can do that. Oh, he walked back and hit our spike back there. There is no jab infinite, so if you actually, I'll do that. So basically, you'll end up knocking them down one way or another. There is actually a maximum of 6 hits. We have it at 6. We'd actually have it lower, but we can't separate that for 2-player because we are working with Neo Geo limitations here. And there's only so much you can do with a 12 megahertz CPU. And the Neo Geo was a beast in its time. We're gonna go. Always check behind the waterfall, by the way. The Neo Geo was an absolute beast for its time, but it has some issues with other genres that aren't fighting games. Also, I'm going to make this look a lot easier than it really is. So far, I've only known 2 people to actually beat the game on normal. And good luck beating on Vengeance mode. I can barely beat it. I have to tune that a little bit more. I might make my next run with Candy on normal. Oh, another thing is you can, if you hold down the light punch button, you'll do a spin attack, and that's universal for every character. Oh, another thing you'll notice is you'll see the shields, the green or the yellow shields that some characters will have, and those are actually only breakable by heavy attacks. Got me a one up. One of the things about these secret areas, the reason why you'd want to go in there. Oh, I've also got a weapon here too. Is you'll get a one up. He saw like the dialogue isn't quite finished there. It's like golem medium. It's because we're on medium difficulty. That has to be written. Oh, I got the level secret. I got to run out because I'll have issues otherwise. Because there is. Oh shit! I'm actually gonna get hit. There's a boulder. Shout out to Indiana Jones. Yeah, the boulder chase is pretty good. We got a few fun things like that in the game. We did have a little bit of fun. I wish we could have added more, but that's pretty much anybody who's made a game, Burst, you know this. There's at no point in time when you're actually finished. There's so many good ideas you come up with, but you only have so much time. Oh, missed. No, the boulder does not come out of this section. No, it does not come out from the waterfall. We do have, as you can see, I don't know how many of you have played Nier Automata, but late in the game's development, one of the guys on the team really, really wanted weapons. And I'm like, we have to redo all the animations or add in a ton more animations to support multiple weapons or multiple guns. And we're just basically like, well, how do we do that? And I was like, wait, have you guys played Nier Automata? And as you can see, we decided to basically make some. We won't discuss the origins of the gun, but it does have origins. And there's a flamethrower, a machine gun, and this guy here, the rocket launcher. And but anyway, yeah, shout outs to Nier Automata because I absolutely stole it from that, and that kept us from having to redo any animations. All we had to do was make the gun. I love that. Just the wall splat into a throw. Feels so good. Oh shoot. I wanted that. There's oh, what I was saying earlier is, here, I'll even do it. All these guys. Somebody will do it. One of you do it. Well, I messed up. Basically, that shield, you'll see it on the boss here. That shield can be broken with your strong attack. Those guys will absolutely catch people, and I love it. I'll probably let myself get hit by one here pretty soon because it's fun. That was the down throw. All right, so here's the stage 1 boss. Did you use any of the system shrink and enlarge cape? So that is actually a, I won't say a myth of the Neo Geo, but almost everybody, including myself, thinks the Neo Geo can do scaling and rotation. Most people in the know thinks it can do scaling because it can. However, the Neo Geo has really, really weird hardware where it can scale large assets down, but then to scale it back up, it takes a lot more horsepower to do. So that's why you really only ever see that in fighting games, is because there's nothing else going on in a fighting game. In fact, that's why the Neo Geo was mostly a fighting game system for the longest time. I mean, go play Metal Slug and you'll see just how much slowdown is in those games. If you want a 60 frames per second game, you are not getting it if you're using any of those features. So actually, any of the scaling that you'll see in this game was cheating just by animation. Because the one thing the Neo Geo can do really well is it has fast ROM access, and it doesn't have to go through the VDP of the Neo Geo, and it just reads directly from the memory, and that memory is super fast, so you can have all kinds of assets and data and just stream it directly into the game. Everything that you're looking at right here, these are basically just GIFs that are converted into the game. We literally create them as GIFs. And yeah, so the Neo Geo is awesome at that, not so good at scaling and rotation. Uh-oh, I'm gonna die to the timer. I need to add a reset. Hey everybody, I found a bug. If you sit there, you should, when you get to the boss fight, you should probably reset the timer. I didn't do that. Anyway, every boss in this game has 3 phases and add something new every phase. And oh, I didn't even see that. And what happens is when this guy gets low, you can break that. Is when this guy gets really low, he'll run to the center of the screen, and you have to break this armor. But you don't want to get hit, because if you do, here, I'll let him do it. He gets his health back. We used to have issues with people not seeing that, and so we added an attack to tell people like, hey, you need to attack during this. And that actually fixed everything. Originally, he actually could do it anywhere on the screen too, but we moved it to the center of the screen. So as you can see, if you know what you're doing, you can murder bosses. I just PGM. No, sorry. Not doing that. Any cheats selected in the Unibios? I have a ticket in for that. I don't know. We are starting to run real short of time. So there is a few things that may end up slipping. Hopefully we get that in. Oh, each cutscene is different based on which character you're using. And it'll change kind of the perspective of the character and the writing. So... Anyway, this is the beginning of stage 2, and its theme is explosives. Explosives everywhere. And I'm not going to play this too far in. In fact, I'm going to change characters here real soon. But I guess I'll go a little bit in, and then we'll swap. That's the special move. Oh, that's another mechanic I haven't explained yet. You see how there's gray health? I'll get hit. I lose the gray health. So in a lot of games, these games, you lose HP when you use your special move to get out of grapples, or people are surrounding you, or you just want to do more damage. That guy right there, if you... Oh, I just got hit immediately. So I was trying to show it off. But you get your gray health back by hitting enemies or slowly over time. So there's a lot of risk reward. So you can use it and you don't have to immediately lose all your HP, but if you get hit, you've lost everything there. So a lot of risk, a lot of reward. It's gonna be really good for speedrunners because that guy will be used. You'll see. I think I'll probably end the stream doing a speed run on the stage 2 boss, and it is super fast if you use that and you know what you're doing. Up until recently, those guys that roll could actually roll over your punches, and I changed that because they were just too hard for this early in the game. Street Fighter 4 Gray Hell. Actually, it's a concept that goes back decades. I don't know which game started it. I do know, like, say, Marvel vs. Capcom had it. That's where I know Gray Hell from the most, is from Marvel vs. Capcom. I'm sure that wasn't the first. And we have these, like, little scenes like this set up all through the game, too. I have like mini scenes, like little cut scenes essentially, of like enemies attacking each other or things like that. And then we have like other things like a Cadillac that zooms in and enemies jump out of it. we're gonna get to the scooter stage. I want to show you guys the first bonus stage, and then after that I'll swap characters. So we had a little explosion in the background. So yeah, now we have falling. Oh boy, I need to watch out. Falling bodies. Later on, we'll get falling enemies. See, that was one of the things I could have used my B attack to interrupt, but I was too slow. Did any of the characters have a role? No. Fun fact, actually, the next character that I'm going to play is Candy. And Candy actually started out with her cartwheel and a dodge roll. And what ended up happening is the dodge roll became just the cartwheel because it was too unwieldy to have both. It was one of those, like, just to make it a little more smoother to play. Oh, I hit dynamite in the dynamite thing. I do that a couple times in this stage. It's great. Oh, shoot. So Candy, so Golem here, he has all these throws, right? Candy actually has a cartwheel that gives her a lot of defensive options, and I'll show you her when I get there. And this is one of the, we have multiple mini stages, 3 actually, or 3 mini games. And this will, everybody immediately thinks this is like Battletoads, but luckily it is much, much easier than that. And so basically the bosses, we call them boil babies. They're still pissed that you beat up the boss, so they're chasing after you in this. And then of course there's guys off in the distance because it's basically like Mad Max, and they're just wanting to murder anybody that's out here. And our heroes are actually on their way to the city to try to investigate like what is going on. And so the city is actually next, which I might show off a little bit. Like I said, we've put out videos that contain most of this stuff, but don't want to spoil too much. There we go. All right, so that was Golem, and what I'm gonna do now is there's a slide puzzle minigame. Sadly, we are not good enough as a studio to create a proper slide puzzle minigame. I'm sorry. I know everybody's disappointed, but you know, them's the breaks. So anyway, we're gonna show off the second character here, and this is actually voiced by the wife of one of the artists in the game, Candy.
Slice and dice.
And my wife came up with that line, though, by the way. So anyway, here's the how to play screen. And we won't go through this again. You can actually speed through if you keep mashing the buttons. So speedrunners, there you go. You can mash buttons through everything. And again, you can always check the move list of the character and see what they have. Candy is, like I said, she's a very evasive, very defensive, but also very offensive. I would always call her like a very flow state character. You will press a lot of buttons with her. Actually, let me change the difficulty here. I'm gonna change it to hard. Oh wait, let me do the actual.
Vengeance
Do this. Okay, we're on Vengeance, so we're gonna make this a little harder on me. Any plans developing a shooter, aka shmup? No, not right now. I do know Yuzo Koshiro is about to release a shooter, and it looks freaking awesome on the Sega Genesis / Mega Drive. Oh yeah, you asked earlier, is there a shmup stage? There might, actually, you know there's a shmup stage. If you've seen the trailer, you know there is a shmup stage. So it's very much like the scooter stage. It's not super hard, but it's pretty alright. Later, Nudie. Have a good one. Thanks for showing up, dude. All right, so Candy, her, instead of having throws, Candy does not have any throws. That's going to piss some people who want to play a normal beat 'em up off because not every character has a throw. I understand that. That's fine. I just feel like if they give this a try, they'll be a-okay with it. So instead of throws, Candy gets a cartwheel. However, Candy's cartwheel can result in other stuff. Like being able to do an instant uppercut, or you can jump higher and further, or you can do a ground and pound. And you'll see some other fun stuff. The cartwheel will also relaunch enemies back up in the air. And I'm actually going to restart this stage. We have a debug menu in the game right now, but that will change. We won't have this in here. That's for testing. We have all kinds of fun stuff in here. Like I can kill a boss in one hit, like just crazy stuff everywhere. It's great. But anyway, Candy, as you'll see, she's going to play a lot different. Like I said, the base ground combos are the same for every character, but how you play with them drastically changes how the game plays. So as you can see there, I relaunched wall bounce instead of wall splat. I get wall bounces, and you only get 2 of those. So you have to keep track of them. You only get 2, and then they fall. But when they fall, then you can hit them with that. So basically, you press your cartwheel button, and you can instantly go into these moves like this. So she's going to be launching enemies all over the damn place. But so her main objective is get enemies in the air. She does way more damage. Oh, see right there? That guy was about to hit me, and I can dodge it. Basically, think of it as like Dark Souls dodge roll. So if you want to play a defensive character, she's your girl. See right there? I was able to dodge that move. And then I can do a ground and pound with that too. That does a lot of damage, so it does a lot of just a lot of HP damage when you do the ground and pound. There is risk though. If anybody comes up behind you and starts swinging, you're gonna get hit. Another fun thing that's unique to her is she has those blades, and her blades have a percentage chance on every move to cause a bleed that use the blades, so you can see the dot, you can see the blood and everything like that. However, if you do the ground and pound, that's guaranteed to cause a bleed. And same thing for her special, which we call I think I call it like 1,000 needles or something like that. But a lot of people will be like, man, that just seems so broken to have like, you know, an ability like that. Well, Candy also has really low HP. So she's fast, she's mobile, but she can get beat up. And also we're in stage 1, so everything's a little, I was able to avoid that. If I was on any other character, I die to that. Unless I jump straight up. You can jump straight up and get out of it. And as you can imagine, in 2-player, with enemies flying everywhere and the different moves that everybody has, there is so much chaos you can do. Throwing enemies around, knocking enemies around, throwing enemies to your teammate. It's good times. If Mr. Den's still there in chat, him and I fired up a program that actually let us play online with that. And that worked really, really well. And that was a lot of fun. The launcher here also doesn't do much damage. So not much risk of like, you can't just do this and infinitely CC. You can only keep enemies up in the air for, I think it's like 5 hits total, and then they fall to the ground, but you could relaunch twice. Let's see, answering questions here. Are there any 2-player only specials? No 2-player only specials. Since we are working with a Neo Geo game, we're already pushing it to its limits. I can proudly say this is going to be one of the few Neo Geo games that in 2-player will mostly keep 60 frames per second. Not always, but mostly. And when it doesn't hit 60 frames per second, you'll get a little bit of screen corruption. Think like NES, like sprite flicker, but not quite like that. It's more like, it's weird. But it feels a lot better. Like the game doesn't slow down really. So that is something we can do that we could not do because we're already pushing everything to the limits. Like this 12 megahertz processor makes things very interesting to design around. Yes, you can juggle characters over the other players to keep the combo going. As long as the character still has quote-unquote hits left, you can knock them all over the screen. There is actually some infinites you can do, but since everything's so low HP, it doesn't matter because this is a beat 'em up and not a fighting game. And usually, I think there's only like one exception I can think of off the top of my head that works as an infinite, but it's on dead enemies because I wanted to make sure that dead enemies in the air can still be thrown around and comboed because I think it's fun. We originally had it was like, oh no, when they die, they gotta die. And I'm like, no, we gotta be able to hit them. And that worked out pretty well, in my opinion. So I knew those guys were coming up. They're technically in the air, so Candy's ground and oh shoot, I got hit by that. I missed. See there, I was able to. Oh, that's another thing I forgot to tell you. Candy actually has some other stuff. She has a dive kick. So somebody's about to do something, you can go like and interrupt them. It's just a small stun, doesn't do a ton of damage, but it'll get you over to enemies, just like you just saw right there. So you can kind of keep stuff going. And also she has a wall jump. So wall jump into dive kick. There we go. So she's got a lot of tools. And like I said, most of the tools you don't have to know how to use, even for hard mode, to get really good at the game. But they're there. They're for people who just really want to end up like kind of putting some time in on something, have some mechanics, some agency. You're not just sitting there playing footsies with characters. You actually feel like you're pretty powerful. In fact, the whole goal is to make you feel overpowered while still actually having like a balanced game. All right, these guys come up with me, so I'm cheesing them. Probably cheesing things a little too much, but you know, it's fine. That was actually an infinite protection. If you have like more than I think 4 heavy kicks or heavy attacks, the enemy will fall over. So can't just sit there and cheese it. Go. Yeah, as seen in the game, dive kick. Oh, Candy can also, she's one of the few characters in beat 'em ups in general. You can go one way and hit the other. So just like that, she is a lot more versatile. Because that was another thing that I didn't really like with a lot of beat 'em ups, is the fact that everything just felt so like you're kind of stuck in mud a little bit. And I know there's a cadence to that, and some people like it. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. I just wasn't my preference, and I'm not following that pattern with this game. Like I said, this is definitely more Devil May Cry than it is Streets of Rage. See right there, I was able to interrupt that attack with the dive kick because I saw it. Of course, then I got hit right away by another one. Enemies on hard mode also, we didn't bitch out on hard mode. They do have more HP, but not by a lot. But they move faster. They decide to attack faster. They have more aggressive patterns. And they hit harder. And yeah, so you're gonna have a lot more of a challenge. Also, a lot of the power-ups and a lot of the health pickups, those are set by difficulty, so there's fewer of them. Also, you get a on normal mode, every 10,000 points you get a 1-up, but on hard mode, I think it's every 15,000. I think that's what I've got it on right now. I might change that. Yeah, hard mode is not damage sponges. In fact, you won't notice that. You'll notice it enough because you'll have your combos. Like, you'll be like, oh, that combo should have killed, but then they'll just survive it. And sometimes that's exactly what they need to be able to overwhelm you on hard mode. It's just that little bit of extra. But yeah, the amount of, I've got it set on hard mode. I've got it set kind of easy right now. But the other day I set it to where every character basically, like, they could walk up to you and like within a millisecond they could start throwing out an attack. Right now, I think it's on like a 10 or 15 millisecond delay because it felt like it was too punishing. But like I said, I'm trying to figure that out. Like what would be best. I want it to be beatable, but I want it to still be hard. And normal mode should be pretty beatable by most people. Oh, another thing is there's triple hit combos in the air for both Looney, who we haven't seen yet, and for Candy. You can also do light, light, light in the air, but then you can end with a heavy. If you end with the heavy, you'll slam them to the ground, and if you hit enemies on that triple hit combo that are in front of you that are still standing, it'll knock them to the ground too. So it's a really good CC. So it's like a good bit of tech that's in the game. Another thing, actually, that's tech in the game is if you get knocked down and you press either the light attack button, I'll try not to get hit by the boulder, press the light attack button, or you, actually I'll get hit by the boulder intentionally there, and it just knocks you out. If you get knocked down, you get up again. But, sorry, terrible joke. You can get up real fast. So let me see if I can get knocked down by this guy. I think he has... These guys have a... oh, actually, no, they don't have a knockdown anymore. Sorry. I've been rebalancing the game. I can't remember which version I'm playing. Oh, I should have taken that. That would have knocked me down. Oh, shit. I'm getting mauled right now. I don't have... Oh, one thing about these weapons is you do lose your signature move. But one cool thing is that you can combo with them. So you basically get a whole new set of combos when using the weapon. So you do lose your signature move, which some people might not like, but then at that point it's like, just don't pick up the weapon. But it's pretty fun to actually learn new combos just because you have the different weapons. So I have kind of some stuff I'll do with this guy, and then the flamethrower and the machine gun. I got some different stuff I'll do. Oh, get out of here! Oh, that guy clipped me. Honestly, hope that you prioritize hard to make it hard. Yeah, hard is pretty hard. So far, I've only known one person to beat it who isn't me, and I can barely beat it. And the only reason why he beat it is because he is a grindy 1cc player. Like, he's 1cc'd almost every beat 'em up. And all he does is use the cheesiest, I don't want to take damage sort of everything. In fact, he ran in, I found a bunch of timer issues because he kept running out of time on certain things because he took more time than even I would have ever expected anybody. Actually, the Dave here, okay, so Junkyard Dave, this is one thing that I'm hoping to get in the game. We have some potential unlockables, and I don't know if you've ever heard of Dante Must Die mode, but essentially a couple of modes that I want in the game is one-hit death for everything. That includes you, bosses, enemies, everything. And then also the even more worse version of that where you die in one hit, but everybody else is just like normal. So that would be like kind of almost like bonus hard modes pretty much. I can already do all of that through through this debug menu. So hoping that is actually something that we get into the game. Oh, thanks, First. Yeah, the game is on up for wishlist on Steam. We should have that up for basically all the other platforms here pretty soon too. Okay, well, since you are here and you now insist, that's all I need for my use case of basically making sure that it happens. So I will say the audience demands it, that the players demand one-hit death mode, and we will get it. Yeah, it's like I said, some of that stuff I'm hoping that we can at least add in here in the next couple of weeks. And if we do happen to get a little bit of a hardware delay, I'm not going to cry, because that's stuff like that's going to go in. As you can see, there's a limit on that. I knocked enemies off. So you can bounce enemies, but then eventually they go flying. And that's like another infinite protection. So we do have some infinite protections. I'm going to see if I kill this guy with that. Oh. So you didn't get to see it very well over there, but I actually did use the get up fast. If you time it right, you can hit, like I was saying earlier, either jump or light punch, and you'll kick back up. So if you get knocked down, you can get up really fast. So it's just another bit of tech for advanced players. Most people won't know or care, but it's there. What mode am I on? Okay. Go. Can you do a YRC? Why do I feel like I just got a D's nuts joke? Wish this like 30 minutes ago. Awesome. We have debug mode. See, I would actually not mind shipping a debug mode where you have to use some sort of code to get to it, because there is some killer stuff in here. Like all kinds of crazy stuff. I can even turn on 2 players. In fact, I'll even show that off here in a little bit. We've got a bot. That's another thing I want to basically be able to include. It's not very smart. It doesn't work that great, but it's good for testing. And I would absolutely include it as an unlockable, as something of like, hey, you guys can have this, but just know it's not really something we support, because we can't make it that good, because, you know, again, Neo Geo processor. We're at the limits of the 12 megahertz. So this guy, oh, that red shield like that you see, that guy right there is, you can't, it's called hyper armor, and you cannot get through it. I was actually able to break his, he didn't get to do this move for phase 1. I actually killed him fast enough in phase 1. There is speedrun stuff. I'm not really doing much of it. I'm trying to show off the boss a little bit. Oh, he just... Okay. Yeah, he just comboed the shit out of me. Oh, that's a big hit. Oh. That hit right there, if that would have hit me, that does like half your health. Got him. Sweet. Yeah, just unlock the debug code or mode with Konami code. I don't know. Maybe I can talk people into it, but I make a lot of decisions, but we still make decisions as a team, and some people are against stuff like that. Don't know why, but I don't know. We'll figure it out. Usually at the end of the day, whatever is the most fun wins out. We did add some music recently, so our cutscenes will actually all have little bits of music as well. And we do have a special announcement to make about the first track in the game. I can't talk about it now, but we've got it pretty much locked in. And you guys, anybody who knows music from video games is gonna like that announcement. So I can't say any more than that, but you're gonna like that announcement. Oh, take care, Mr. Skinny. Appreciate it, man. All right, so what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna show off Looney. So Looney, he is our third and final playable character. I do have a fourth one drawn up, so if we ever did DLC, which funny enough with our cartridge, we could do an update to the game because it's gonna ship with an SD slot. So that's actually pretty cool. Most games don't have that. But anyway, Looney is our third and final playable character, and he is what I call the ranged combo monster. He's got like air combos for days, and he is, I don't think he's the strongest of the characters, but he is the most fun for me to play. So we're gonna go ahead and fire him up. his signature move was originally supposed to, I thought about it as like basically Dalzim, where he could reach across the screen, and then I was wanting him to grab enemies and yank them to him and then do really powerful attacks. However, the Neo Geo has a limitation where you can only go so far across the screen with the sprite before it will start like having a bunch of corruption. So we couldn't do that. So that morphed into Looney having a fist missile, aka a Fissile. Can your cart double as a Neo SD style cartridge? It's using essentially the Neo SD platform. It's not exactly the same. It's got custom firmware, but the cartridge is essentially the Neo SD, not the Pro, but just the Neo SD with some minor variations on it. Partially that's for protection, partially that's just because that's one of the easier ways to make a cartridge these days. It's also the easiest way to make sure your cartridge doesn't end up on AliExpress within 2 weeks, which some people that are developing in this scene in Neo Geo have already experienced. Like I won't call them out because they're awesome people and they make great games, but their game like was on AliExpress on a cartridge in 2 weeks. I was so pissed off about that. So yeah, anyway, we do have some protection. It's essentially the Neo SD platform. This was actually developed because they wanted to be able to offer a platform for developers to be able to make their game on it and protect it. And then also anybody who owns a Neo SD or Neo SD Pro can actually sell the ROM if they want and basically lock it to just that platform, so you don't have to worry about, again, AliExpress games. So yeah. Anyway, back to the main star here, Looney. He has ranged options. He's gonna look super OP, but if you notice, HP does not go down fast when you do that. So that is by far not the most optimal way to play him. But Looney is meant to be this kind of crazy character, just like explosive, knocks enemies all over the place. And you will get a lot of options with him pretty much to do combos from across the screen. So I'm trying to think of another character. There's really not a fighting game analog that I can, or not fighting game, beat 'em up character that I can think of that's similar to him. There's definitely a few fighting game ones. But as you can see, he has the ability to knock enemies from the ground back up into the air. It's what's called an OTG. And it'll knock enemies up into the air, and then you can go finish them in the air if you want. And that's kind of his main thing. And he doesn't have a lot of defense because he doesn't have like Candy's rolls, so you have to play him super careful. And that's his CC. Like, to get an enemy off you, if you don't want to deal with that guy, you can shoot him out of there. Some enemies are immune to that though, like the bigger ones, and they're called heavies. So later in the game, you'll run into that. But then he also has very similar combos to Candy in the air, except for, as you notice, enemies go flying. Because that's kind of his character's signature thing, is that he just kind of overdoes everything. So enemies go flying, and so since they're going across the screen, you can hit them with a missile as they fly across the screen. And you can hit them off the ground, you can hit them diagonal, you can shoot the missiles diagonal, you can shoot missiles straight up. Go wild, go crazy with your imagination on how combos work for Looney. That's why I like him so much. You can just do some crazy stuff with him. Oh, and his here, I'll show it off after this enemy here. His Strong also has a different like some tech with it too. Normally with enemies that are coming down, you can actually rebounce them with his Strong. Again, going kind of like with... So that leads into fun stuff like this. Oh, of course, that guy just came up behind me. So yeah, as you can see, trying to keep the game simple for everybody to be able to just play, but give a little bit of meat there for people who want to actually like get a little deeper into mechanics, which a lot of games from the era just didn't have. I know games like later games like Aliens vs. Predator had a lot of that. There is definitely some modern games that are coming out, that are either out or coming out, that has some of this stuff. but you just didn't see it on from the era that much, and especially not on the Neo Geo. The Neo Geo kind of has not the best representation for this genre, I would say. So yeah, Looney probably has some of the best like ways to just sort of freestyle combos. Candy does too. Actually, well, I mean, really, like Golem does as well. But I definitely see him as more of your starter character. It's a little easier for people to grasp. But who knows? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe everybody thinks Candy's really easy. Oh, I got bit. Did make those guys faster recently. Oh. I like using the, we have a bunch of physical things in the game, and you can use those to your advantage. And these are mutant zombies too, so we like to say like the mutant zombies are dumb and they just run into stuff, which is true because they are technically dumb and would run into stuff, but it's also another thing where like AI pathing takes up tons of CPU cycles. So it makes it really hard to do proper AI pathing, and so we have to cheat a little bit. So even though we're going for like a modern game sort of like expectation in gameplay as much as possible, it's definitely still going to be representative of the hardware because it is limited by it. Oh no, I messed that up. Oh shit. Oh, there is a, so I don't use it very much. I'll show it off though. There is a back elbow, so you can do that. I'm actually thinking about making it knock people down so it has more than just a stun. I gave it a bunch of stun. I don't use it very often because it's a little bit like, I don't know, it's not as needed in a game like this. Belos makes video game music. What question did you ask? Betel Gabriel. I will do my best to ask questions. I have not streamed for a long time, and I was never good at it to begin with. So my apologies if I miss anything. So feel free to repeat. It won't bother me at all. That's what we're here for. We're here to have a little bit of fun, show off the game a little bit, and answer some questions. Go through the waterfall again. Aw, dang it. I am playing horribly. What kind of music styles you guys got in the game soundtrack? Mostly it's going to be very much like your kind of ear appropriate, kind of crunchy Genesis sort of sound, because the Neo Geo kind of has a really good sound chip. Oh, one funny thing is the voices. We actually had to make the voices sound a little worse because the Neo Geo can actually play crystal clear voice audio. Like, it sounds too good. So I had to do what was called bit crushing. You put your wife on, she's better than you at video games anyway. I mean, I can't argue with this. Marcy's pretty damn great at video games. She's a hell of a lot better streamer than I am too. I should have had her stream this. Oh my god, I just bounced myself around everywhere. Great. I ate the turkey only to end up eating 2 hits. Smart move, smart move. Yeah, I am terrible at playing and talking to an audience. That is definitely for sure. So my apologies if I'm a little bit boring. I am trying to figure it out as we go. Hard mode, no hit, easy peasy. Now that's the funny thing is like you can absolutely. I think Candy is going to be the kind of hard mode goddess. I think she's going to be really, really good once you learn everything. And weirdly, I think a lot of people will use the gray health system pretty heavily, because what happens is you end up getting a bunch of enemies killed really quickly. So as long as you know like the next group that's coming out, you can get that gray health back right away, and you kill the next group of enemies. So your chances to be hit ends up being much lower. As you can see, the text wasn't finished there. It said Looney Hard. Got the flamethrower. I love to show off the machine gun. Machine gun's actually my favorite. Probably the most OP one is the flamethrower, but it doesn't last very long if you hold it down anyway. Oh no! Oh god! I meant to jump that, and I got hit, and I got stun locked. These guys have so much reach. There we go. Full screen combos. Let's go. And picking up the points and stuff actually matters. That's another pet peeve of mine in beat 'em ups, is a lot of times points are just there for, you know, like for a score. And I am the type of person, I don't care about scoreboards, leaderboards. I know some people love them. I just don't. So I want those points to actually matter. So when you actually pick up the items, they give you a really good bonus. So they're worth stopping and picking up, because you will also get a 1-up every certain amount of HP, or every certain amount of score total, and it changes per difficulty. And in hard mode, for proper routing, that's going to be absolutely required. You're going to need as many of those 1-ups as possible. Also, you guys might not have caught it. I actually hit the head back at the zombie. Later on in the game, you'll see knife throws and maybe even some mental projection beams that you can knock back at the enemies if your timing is good enough. No, they do not auto run. It is a double tap, but it's very easy, and you can do it in any direction. So you see I can run straight up and down. So I run everywhere. This is how I play. You don't have to play like this. You can move around like this. Just know that run's there, because sometimes you're going to need it for some stuff. And I also open with these attacks, the running attack, pretty often. So auto run I think would be a little clunky, so I didn't go that route. As you can see, that's absolutely murdered them with kind of a different combo there. Oh, of course. Little bastard. Another fun thing is you can fire your missiles while you're being stun locked too, so your gun can actually save you in some situations. So if somebody hit you and you're about to be hit again, you can fire the gun if you have one. Oh shoot, I meant to jump and do that. Also, you guys have probably noticed that enemies fly in, they come in from underground, they basically enter with a little bit more flair. That's another pet peeve of mine with beat 'em ups. Enemies that just walk in from the side of the screen. I mean, sure, we still have that in a couple cases, but it's a lot more rare. So enemies drop in. They may teleport in maybe later in the game. There's some fun stuff with that. But yeah, that's another one of my things that I wanted to change in this game is make sure that each wave was like pretty dynamic in regards to what it looked like. So it didn't just look the same constantly. So that guy right there, if you, any explosion in the game, if you time it right, you can jump straight up and avoid it. The hurt box is just right there, but you got to do it perfect. And I was able to do it there. My favorite stage is actually, boy, I want to say part of stage 3 is really, really good. Like the last part, which you've probably seen in trailers. Stage 4 overall is probably my favorite, including the boss. I just love the boss. And there's one room in stage 5 that's just insanity. It is absolute insanity. And I love it. A lot of these enemies are just hanging out. Nima in his pun game. You still got it, Nima. So you can, you'll notice me avoiding a lot of attacks. New players won't avoid this stuff. I know how to like basically run around stuff and play footsies. Like right there, if I would have just walked, there, like you just get murdered. So like in a normal beat 'em up, you just, oh shoot. In a normal beat 'em up, you just do the same thing. But in this one, you can kind of play footsies a little bit and get around enemies, bosses, stuff like that. Oh god. Okay. And the red means you can't attack. Or you can, but it's just not going to do any damage. He's the only enemy in the game that has 3 shield types. He has a yellow shield, the super armor, he has hyper armor, and then he has the blue armor. Which he's about to do right now. That's only because he has a special attack. Oh no! Oh god! Oh god! Okay, I got it. He was just about to get half his health back. Oh shit. Alright, got him. Let's go. Oh, and that voice right there is actually the main artist of the game who worked on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge, and he's actually Irish. And so we got him to record some lines for Looney because he claimed Looney for Ireland. Yeah, so he didn't design him the way he was supposed to be designed or do the pixel art for him. He just made him basically the way he wanted a futuristic Irishman to look. And so we made him voice him. So all of his voice lines in the game are him. Somebody asked about the music earlier. And this is, I mean, you've heard a couple of tracks, but that crunchy kind of sound, really like that from Genesis, Neo Geo. They're both really good at doing that kind of crunchy guitar and just audio. And it sounds really good on the Neo Geo because the sound chip is a lot better even than the Genesis's. So anyway, that was Looney. What I'm gonna do is we'll do something a little fun here before we end the stream. I mentioned the debug mode. We do have a 2-player mode. Let's see. I want to play as Looney. Let's have player 2 be Candy. She can follow me and give her random inputs, and we'll delay it by about 10. So what we're going to do here is we're actually going to go to the beginning part of the city stage. This character's hair color look different in the cinematic? I don't think so. It might have been a little bit different. The cinematic look of the characters is slightly different than the in-game. Partly that has to do with palette restrictions and making those cutscenes and also the game and trying to make everything line up much harder than you would think. Even on the Neo Geo, which is really good at having like a bunch of different colors, there's still a ton of restrictions. So yeah, I believe his hair is a little darker in the cutscene than it is in game. So anyway, what we're gonna do is we're gonna do 2-player with a bot in the beginning part of City. So this is our bot. I am on Looney, and it's doing some random inputs, but honestly, I think it works pretty good, but it doesn't work perfect, so we don't want to ship it with the game. And I've showed off the bot actually a little bit on Twitter with a couple of posts. Like I said, I think it's just kind of fun. Oh, dang it. I was going to knock that dude's knife back, and I missed. Oh, these guys on death will drop a nice little present for you. Well, she just found out.
Get out of here, you mutants.
That was the first voice line ever put into this game, and it still actually needs to be changed. That is just me saying, "Get out of here, you mutants." As you can see, it's a little bit of chaos, and our bot doesn't know what to do in this section. Oh, they killed him. No. And that guy, if you heard a voice right there, it might have been hard to hear. That's actually our programmer. His we weren't gonna leave that in the game, but his kids really wanted it, so we left it. Why choose Neo Geo, Jared? Well, because we all really love the Neo Geo that's on the team. The core team pretty much grew up with the Neo Geo being kind of the Rolls Royce of consoles, and also home to a lot of our favorite like arcade games. And so we decided to make a Neo Geo game because there is people that still collect Neo Geo games, that still play Neo Geo games. And there's a lot of them that are also on, you know, modern platforms. And so we're like, well, the Neo Geo does not have a great beat 'em up. Maybe we can try our hand at maybe making a good beat 'em up. And so that's why we chose the Neo Geo. It just holds a lot of there's a lot of things special about it that we just really like. Oh, enemies dropping down, throwing their heads. Oh, see, this is one of the reasons why it's hard to ship this. We can't really fix this very easily. Here, let me get this out of the way of her. A love letter to the era? Yeah, it is. Funny enough, is some people don't think this like looks a little too not enough like a Neo Geo game, because almost everybody thinks of Neo Geo games as their later fighters, and they only had the same few artists making all those, and it was a really good art style. Everybody forgets about Metal Slug, Blues Journey, and all that looks like games like this. So that was another thing. The Neo Geo didn't have stuff like this, and so we wanted to make a game that would be like, if the Neo Geo, if like technology just didn't go any further than what it did, and people were still making games for the Neo Geo in 2024, which they are, because there's like 5 of them coming out here, or either recently came out or are coming out. And we just wanted to make a game that actually like celebrated Neo Geo's past, but like kind of like this is what things would be like in the how am I saying this? Oh, I need to hit this guy. Oh, I hit him with him. Oh, I might not be able to do that. Oh well. So there's a little secret there with that guy. Anyway, trying to talk and play at the same time while also thinking about something just doesn't work out very well for me. But anyway, to answer your question, yeah, it's like one of those things where it's like we love the system, we want to make something new that's also a throwback, but also something that modern game players would want to play, because this is going to be on the PS4, PS5, Xbox ecosystem, Switch, Steam, and of course Neo Geo. So we had to make sure that it would work for all of them. Oh, another thing, 2-player. hard mode gives you all 2-player enemies, and there are more 2-player enemies and more waves in hard mode. So that's another thing that we didn't cheap out on with hard mode, is we added more content. Our bot doesn't know how to continue either, so we would have to fix that too. I'm gonna, I think in this, after this little section, this chick's just over here just doing her nails, so I'm gonna interrupt that for a second. Sorry, lady. You guys might notice the reference there for that vehicle. I have to play a lot more carefully right now because all the enemies, because we're in stage 3 now, challenge starts to ramp up significantly. Stage 3 and above, quite a bit more. Shoot. That guy can knock you out of the air too. He has an anti-air that he, well, that's another thing. He has moves that the higher the difficulty, some enemies will block more or will do an anti-air on you more, so you have to watch out. Anyway, that is going to be the conclusion of the game tonight. So I would like to thank everybody for showing up. I'm going to go ahead and kick it out to the attract screen here. And does anybody have any questions or anything like that, or just comments or anything they'd like to say before we get out of here for the night? Oh yeah, sure, no problem, dude. I like showing off what we've been doing. Like I said, we've been doing this for, the game has technically been in development, I think 2.5 years. But really, development didn't really get kind of amped up until about 1.5 years ago. That's when we had like, finally like a stage and a character. And yeah, so hopefully we'll be able to get this guy out and let people play it here pretty soon, because I am legitimately excited since I made a game, a beat 'em up that is made kind of for me. Somebody who likes pressing a lot of buttons, likes character action games, doesn't like stiffness. I like being able to react to things, and this game will definitely allow you to do that. And it also has, like I said, the signature moves were another thing that each character has that makes them unique to play as, and totally separates them from each other, so they don't feel too samey. So you can actually go learn Golem, learn Candy, learn Ludi, and they feel completely different despite the fact that they have the same combos. Candy action figure win, dude. We would love to make like a because we all love Candy. Actually, she's awesome. We would love to do something like that. We would love to do like little plushies. I would love to do a Boil Baby plushie. Those little bitty guys that are on the first stage boss. We'd love to do the Boil Baby plushies.
Vengeance Hunters.
Yeah, no, thank you, Epic Neon Ninja Monkey. Yeah, it's my pleasure to show it off. Y'all ain't sticking with the opening music? Oh, no, it's gonna be the level 1 track. We're still gonna use the level 1 track. We just have like a special guest that's gonna be doing the new level 1 track. So it will still be used. We do also have, here, I'll show this off. We have some other stuff. So people who like video game music, I made sure that we have a play test, so you can play all the different music or all the different sounds. Actually, we're coming up with the names for the tracks too, because I just hate 02, 03. So we're gonna have names for each one of these. I love this track here, by the way. This is our one of our later stage tracks. It's really good. Oh, this one's a really good one too. Yeah, the sound test. It is a lost art, and I wanted to make sure that oh wait, I didn't even know these were in. Oh, okay, so we can change music volume and sound effects volume now. I forgot we were working on that, and I did not know that was in this build. So here, I'll just go ahead and test it. Does it work? Oh, seems to work. Sweet. This is from the shooter stage that you play later. So a little sneak peek at a couple of the tracks here, not too much. But we also got the credits in. Some of you might actually recognize your name in here. I'll just let them go ahead and play as I'm talking. Yeah, yeah. The intro, I really like the intro. There is a different song that was played during the title scroll, the city scrolls we call it. I kind of liked it a little bit better, but the one that we have on there is pretty good too. So yeah. Mic check. Oh hey, T's back. Gotta get those kids to bed. Macaw 45. Yeah, there's a few people. I've been in contact with a few people who are kind of beat 'em up people, just to kind of get their opinion on stuff. Because I'm the type of person who likes to converse with others who are into these kind of mechanics. And, you know, I will absolutely be like, you know, hey, what do you think about this? And if they tell me like, hey, this is trash and here's why it's trash, I will absolutely get out my notepad and I will start taking notes and listen to them and try to fix things, because I like that, and I like that in the community. I like to be able to just talk to people and basically just make a better game. Hell, one of the things that we found recently was the special move was too easy to trigger. And after talking with a couple people who had the problem, I was able to identify what it was and also a solution for it. So even though we're way late in the game making it, we have fixed something that was kind of a major thing. And it was because talking to a lot of the people that you see in the credits here. I Rock would really want to get talk to, plays one seat. Yeah, yeah, yeah. See, that's one of the things I'd really like to see with this game is I put in a few mechanics in here that are very speed run friendly. Everybody, the speedrunners will hate the bonus stages. I am thinking about if we can have a mode that's a speedrun mode that will automatically skip all cutscenes, and then also skip the auto scroller or the auto scroller sections, because we have like two mini games that are essentially just auto scrollers. So you know nobody likes those in speedruns. So might do that to make it a little bit more speedrun friendly. But yeah, there's a lot of tech in here that's really good for speedruns and a lot of stuff for 1cc's. Yep, thinking of the niche people. Hell yeah, dude. I watch GDQ and I watch speedrunners pretty often, so I love that kind of stuff. I want to see people absolutely break this game. I am fine with that. I just want people to have fun, and however they have fun, that is up to them. Yeah, Mr. Din loves auto scroller and speedrun. Yeah, I feel like that's probably not accurate. But anyway, this was a lot of fun. I'd like to thank everybody who showed up tonight. Really appreciate it. Was able to get to show off the game a little bit. Like I said, we are shooting for a late September release. However, that is going to be up to whether or not we can get the physical cartridges like in hand and shipped out, because we're not going to set the modern versions live. Also, we're still doing certification on PSN, Xbox, and Switch. It's taking a lot longer than I would have expected, and there's been some hassles there. So things might get delayed, but it's not going to be because the game's not done. It's going to be because of other stuff that's kind of out of our control. So hopefully you guys can wishlist it on Steam. I believe somebody linked it, Burst Error linked it earlier. Let me go ahead and find that. Steam powered. And like I said, you'll be able to get it wishlisted on other stuff as well when we get those live. Let's see. Boom. All right. So anyway, thank you very much. Appreciate everybody. And everybody have yourselves a good evening. Take care.